Let's fucking do it, like. Just there, bro. Give us a couple of cheesy checkies. Checky cheese.
Cheesy cheese.
I don't know why mine's so far away, bro.
Which one's yours? Which one's mine? What you got? You're the big man.
Hey, don't touch, bro.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
That's the big man one.
Alright. Fuck yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much.
I think so. Yeah. Make sure you're chatting into it.
Am I good there? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I got you to the small one, man, just to serve my dominance. Just a little bit, just like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm your dad.
Big dick in me.
Yeah. That's why you got a regular and I got a large.
That's
And you just got a cappuccino.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Large dirty chai, double shot.
Dirty child.
Yeah, yummy.
Dirty
Hey,
child,
man.
dirty man.
Do you ever think sometimes that dogs are just people stuck inside a dog's body and they get really excited around other dogs because they need to ask them if they've figured out how to like get out of their own body? You ever just think about stuff like that?
No, but next time I look at
No,
a
but
dog,
like you think about if you're a dog and then someone new came to your house, what does a dog do? It just goes up to you like,
how do I get out?
how do I get out of this body? And then they see another dog, it's like, hey man, have you figured it out? Can you speak to any of these humans and figure this shit out yet? 100%.
I like that.
I've spent way too long thinking about that.
When did this cross your mind?
I know, because I was running, like, when I go running, all the dogs bark at me and I wonder if they're just like, oi mate, oi, hey, you running, do you hear me? Get me out of here.
That's good. Next time I see some dogs, I'm gonna
And
be
that's why they want to sniff you up and be like, what are you doing? You figured it out yet? You figured it out?
Hey, bros,
I heard someone figured it out this one time, and now he's a person again.
Alright, next time I see some dogs, I'm gonna, what do you think?
Dude, 100% as well. You ever see a dog meet a new person and just be like, nah. But they're really excited to meet them and then I'll sniff them around and figure out if they're the one that's going to be like, oi mate, I know you're stuck in there, I'm going to get you out.
Yeah, get me out. What's the secret tip?
That's it, man. Yeah, welcome to episode 39 of the Smith's Fitness Podcast. We got Coach Blake Tarfatty, Tyfatty. How do you say your last name properly, bro?
Typhoid.
I've never actually asked you.
Typhoid.
Tyfatty. That's how I say it.
Yeah. You're close enough. I've heard worse.
How?
I've heard worse.
Or when people give it the W.
Yeah, Taiwati. Man, you want to hear like, it sounds like you're like the fish and chip shop, or it sounds like a Asian lady. No offense to any Asians. Taiwati. Dad's just like shaking his head.
Anyway, Blakey's here. We got some
What's
food. We got some food today from. I'm taking these headphones off, bro. I can hear myself too loud. We got some food here today from Pinjarra Bakery. Not a sponsor, not yet. We got a pie each, bro. We got a pie each. I'm not sure
I'll have to save it for a bit, I reckon.
which is which. Oh, you've
Yeah,
already eaten?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll be munching. And then we've got a little baby dessert.
Ooh.
Some little custard continental scroll thing.
Ooh.
And then we've got a little bit of a, what is it? A chocolate brownie. Yeah, man. We can't drink on the podcast because it's like Friday morning. Well, we could, but I got shit to do this afternoon. I got to coach people this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm on
Can't be turning up to swimmer sessions like 3 beers deep, coaching 15-year-olds. So we got some food. So food's the go until we shift the podcast to a more drinking appropriate time, and then we can get some beers going.
That'll be good. I look forward to maybe a Saturday or a footy companion. That's
Well,
what
I looked at doing like 4 times, but they're all 5 o'clock Friday games, like all of them.
Yeah.
5 o'clock Friday. So that doesn't help me out at all.
Yeah.
So we got some pies to eat. You have that one, and I'll munch on this one for now. Well, you don't have to start it straight away.
Nah.
If we have to heat them up, we'll heat them up. But yeah, we had the Jaffles last week, and I thought, we'll have to get some food. So seeing as you're on one leg, I thought I'd get it in.
No, you're
And then you got your little boy coffee over there as well. So Blakey is in. We're going to talk injuries. The reason being, old mate snapped his leg. So Blakey, I want you to talk me through. I'll chuck this up on the screen for you, hopefully. Oh, there we go. Fucking hell, we're going up in the world, eh? Except for the fact that you can't read it. There we go. What happened, bro? Tell us a story.
Oh, so
Take it away. I'm gonna munch.
yeah, so we're playing up at UWA, round 3. Big game.
Searching for a win for the Cavs.
Yeah,
Come on,
searching
boys.
for a win. We were 0-2. It was a big win. Big game, so we needed to win. And yeah, feeling good. Warm up was good. Everything ready to roll. And then yeah, first 5 minutes. First 5 minutes of the game.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so it was my first touch of the ball too.
A quick one.
It was a quick one, yeah. And young Jimmy made a good line break, and I sort of come around the corner and got it off him. And I sort of went into broken plays kind of thing, and I had a fella coming in on my right. And so I've kind of stepped and then went to go at him, and then I've had a fella tackle me from behind, and he's hit me, but then slid down to like where my ankles and that were. So then I've had him down, his weight down on my legs, and then I've took the contact from the guy coming in on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, just the impact of kind of gone to the side, but I've had the fella on my legs, so my legs stayed underneath me, and
So back over your own self.
back over my own self, and yeah, I remember it clear as just this snap, and it was just clear. It was just and I knew straight away. So I was kind of like in the rucket. Young Maddie reckons that I don't remember where the ball went because I just it was just
You just throw it away.
yeah, right. Yeah, and then, so I was at
Like a kid that like when you call for the ball off a kid who's never played the game, they just toss it.
So he reckons that the ball was underneath me. So he's trying to like tell me, get out the way, buddy, like get out. And I'm just sitting there.
On place for
I'm
the
just
front
sitting there
half,
just going, and the ball went away, and I was just holding my leg, and I was just groaning. And I remember there was 2 young ball boys on the side, and they were just looking at me, and I tell you what, their faces were just I remember their faces, and they were both just sitting there, just shitting themselves, looking at me, looking at them, and then just like they didn't know what to do. And eventually the game got called off, and then got stretched off, and I could feel I was holding on to my leg.
They blew the whistle.
They blew the
didn't
whistle.
call the game off, did they?
No, they blew the whistle. Apparently it took them about 7 minutes to get me off the field. I was just holding my leg, but it was just
Did you see it and it was like Anderson Silver shit or what?
Yeah, it was floppy.
You noticed straight away, don't you?
Yeah, I knew it was broken. The snap, and I knew it was broken. It was floppy. Like my whole leg was twitching.
Yep.
And then and I was just.
And then it gets painful.
And then it gets painful.
Like to start with, you're like, what the? And it's like shock.
Yeah. Once that adrenaline wears off, then you just.
Then it starts being like, oh.
Yeah. Even when they were moving me to get onto like the stretcher, it was like one of the ones that come in like 2 pieces.
Yep.
So you gotta they're shit stretchers, aren't they?
Dude.
The 2-piece ones.
Surely you've seen like all the stretcher fail videos, like people getting stretched like that. I think at this stage it's like if it's not spinal, just pick them up, eh?
Yeah.
Some of the fucking soccer ones are the best. Dudes like picking the stretcher up and like putting the dude's face into their ass and stuff like that.
That's the first one I thought of,
Or like picking one end up and they slide down.
Like even just the spinal boards, just with the solid ones, just roll someone on. But so it was a mission to get me off, and then I just had to sit there. It was about 20 minutes till the ambo came, and I was just looking at this.
That's what I was saying, because that McGill and there's always footy on. It's right behind. It's still called Channel Shady, whatever the fuck it's called.
So you got hockey playing, you got netball playing.
I just thought there would be a stationed medic or paramedic ambulance like there permanently.
Yeah, well they were there already that day, picking someone else up.
Yeah, shit.
And I remember when me and you were playing there, like there was every now and then there would be a station there.
Yeah.
It'd just be hit and miss of when it was.
Unlucky, I suppose.
Yeah,
So then you went to
Sir Charles Gardner.
Charlie's.
Got on the green whistle and that.
On the sideline?
Yeah, on the sideline. So
Who had that?
that was when the Ambos came. So I was there for
They
about
can't just give it to sports trainers, can they?
No, I think if you're like an advanced physio or something, which would be bloody handy because man, I was sitting there and I was.
There's not much they can do anyway, though, bro.
Nah.
Unless they've got that sort of.
It takes the edge off.
What's the green whistle? It's morphine, eh?
Morphine, yeah.
Yeah. unless they've got that, what are they going to do? Like, oh, yeah, don't put any weight on it. No, cheers, mate.
Yeah,
I fucking think I won't.
Don't worry, I won't be.
Yeah. Ah, shit, man.
Yeah,
So, broken, like, you know it's broken.
Yeah.
You go, and then, like, I want the whole story, because you said you had to sit around a bit.
Yeah, so I'm in the ambo, and now that I've kind of, like, adrenaline's kicked in, I got the, had the green list of the morphine, I'm pretty sweet now, so I'm talking to the ambo ladies, and I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I can't get stretched off and it'd be a sprain. Like, I'm like, I tell you what, I think it's broken, right? And I'm second guessing myself. I'm like, geez, I'm gonna cop
You almost start to, oh fuck, I hope it's broken.
Yeah, I'm gonna cop it from the boys if I'm getting stretched off just for a sprain. But yeah, so we got to the hospital and come in ambo, so I thought, oh yeah, I'll be fast tracked, we'll go straight through. And the ambo ladies were saying that as well. So next minute, I'm out in the waiting room and I'm just sitting there and I'm in a wheelchair, my leg's down and the blood is just rushing to my leg.
You didn't try and put it up or anything?
Oh,
Who was with you at this point?
Mum and Dad were there.
Sorry, I'm half deep in this pint, by the way. I got the Saturday one. It's pretty decent. $7.80 though.
The chunky steak one's good though.
I think you got the cheese one in or something, or curry or something.
Yeah.
But $7.80 for a pie.
Yeah.
It's a bit, eh?
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. You should have chucked your leg up.
I should have.
Who was with you? Your mum was with you?
Mum and Dad, yeah. I should have known that too, but to be honest, bro, when they said I was getting fast tracked, I thought, oh yeah, sweet, we'll sit here for 5 minutes and go through it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you still got a broken leg. Like,
Yeah.
it just would have made things a tiny bit easier, maybe, but.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and it's about 20 minutes gone by and I'm looking at Mum and I'm starting to get really agitated. I said to Mum, I was like, Honey, you need to start getting me some drugs or something because I'm hurting, I'm proper hurting.
What was your mum like? Full mum mode, straight away?
Yeah,
Was your dad like?
She's been good. Nah, Dad.
Was your dad like, you fuck, were you?
Oh, nah, Dad, yeah.
Was he like typical dad, like, oh, what have you done, you dickhead?
Yeah, he was just like...
And then mum's all like, oh, it'll be alright.
Yeah, no, Dad was alright. He was pretty quiet. He doesn't say a lot when it's kind of that situation, but then he could see that I was he could see I was hurting, and then he started getting pissed off and like.
Yeah. But
and he went and spoke to him, and then I don't know what he said to him, but like there's this bit of movement behind.
But I feel like it was just a little fuck up, because you definitely shouldn't have been sitting there.
Nah.
So once they figured that out, they sort of sorted themselves out.
So I went through. So by the time then I went through and like I was in proper pain. Boom, chucking straight in the morphine, chuck that thing in your veins so they can administer like the morphine. And yeah, once you chuck that in there, fuck, I was all good. But yeah, gave me a couple of them and I'll go get your X-rays. And then after I got my X-rays, that's when I noticed that it was like, I've done it good, because when I was in there, the people on the X-rays, they were like, oh yeah, you've broken your leg, and just could tell by the language they were kind of talking with each other and like, oh yeah, like, so you play rugby, oh yeah, this is a good one. And then after that, the treatment was just different.
Yeah.
Like I was getting looked after.
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting out in the corridor by myself. Like there was always someone there. And I was like, oh, fuck, oh, maybe I've done something proper here.
How shit are the X-rays?
Oh.
Like you have to get them, but you're sitting there like, I know this is broken, and they're like, can you just hold it? And then they put you on these fucking shit angles, and you're like, hold it. Oh man, I fucking hate X-rays.
So and then before I go get my X-rays, the lady with like the morphine was like, oh, how does it feel? Because you're going to go get X-rays. And I was like, oh, it's not too bad. She's like, they're going to move him around a bit. And I was like, oh yeah, chuck me some more and then I'll just take it.
Sort me out.
Yeah, so then and then after the X-rays, fella comes up and he's just like, oh yeah, you broke your leg. Oh yeah, sweet. So we're going to chuck a cast on. I was like, oh yeah, no worries. And then he said surgery, and that's when I was like, fuck. And I was like, so we're in surgery, and he's like, I'm trying to get you in straight away, but depends on your swelling. And I said, oh, so I have to stay here? And he's like, yep.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of sunk in, and I was like, fuck, here we go. And then
And then once the novelty of like, I don't know, there is like that novelty from my very short stints of ever having to be in hospital. It's like, oh, this is cool, that's cool, this is new, what's this? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, this is fucking boring.
Saturday night, sitting in ER, up there, city ways, like you got some characters
Must
coming
be
in.
some Wi-Fi or something, would you?
Yeah, tell you what, some characters come through. Hats off to all the nurses out there, man. They cop a bit.
You haven't been to emergency at Rocking Out?
Yeah, I have.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Some fucking specimens in there.
Dude, and like just, oh man, like there's this old guy going off, like full abusing these people, these nurses, and they're just trying to help him. Some other fellow was getting escorted around.
Saturday night, yeah.
Saturday night, it was on, and I was just saying to the nurses, I was like, I don't know how you guys do this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
They looked after you well, eh?
yeah, so
Eventually.
I got moved into my own room about 1:30, and then it was nice and quiet from then on, and then yeah, I was there for the next 5 days. So
Shit.
I didn't get surgery until Wednesday.
So just to fill everyone in, and correct me if I'm wrong, broken fibula,
Yep.
which is the leg bone on the lateral side, non-weight bearing. So when you hear people like, oh, you played on a broken leg, that's the bone that they're typically broken. Probably not like you've broken it. So you've broken that through, I think it's called the surgical head of the fibula, lower end.
Yeah.
Distal fibula.
Yeah.
Start using all the anatomical terms, make yourself feel smart. When you showed me the first x-ray, it sort of looked like a 45 up from like the outside of your ankle, like 45, just sort of straight break all the way through. And then there was another x-ray that you sent through after it was fixed together from like sort of side on from the front, sort of and to a bit of an angle, and then you can see that it was like in a few pieces, the tibia.
Yeah.
So he's also snapped through the tibia, which is the main lower leg bone, shin bone,
Yeah.
through the shin basically.
Basically, yeah.
Like I mentioned, I'll be interested to see when we get into like the rehab what repercussions it has at your ankle, because it's not your ankle,
Nah, it's just above.
but that fibula side is just above like that head of the fibula, which I assume is where most people snap it because it's the thinnest part.
Ligaments alright, which is a
good.
which is a good sign for us.
Like I mentioned about like just comparing it to when I did my wrist, like the wrist is obviously a whole host of different joints that have to move in unison, so there's a lot of like intricacies to it, whereas yours is typically, well, yours is just, will this bone like unify after the fixation,
Yeah.
rather than like, is it going to function properly again? So it's, I think it'll be more about the alignment of how it unifies back together, which is, so you've got a 10 centimeter plate on the lateral side of your ankle, so fibula side,
Yeah.
and then about 3 or 4 screws through that,
Yeah.
and then you've got about a 20 centimeter
Yeah.
plate on the medial side, so the inside,
Yeah.
fixated in the sort of 3 pieces of the tibia back together.
Yeah, it's top, middle, and bottom.
Yeah, there was a bit there, that was the bit on the second x-ray that I saw, and was just like, ooh, flat.
Yeah. And they reckon that they had to do quite a bit of manipulation to get it straight again, eh? So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, like I did a bit of Googling, the old Google Scholar out last night, trying to like just look at rehab, like from like fixation surgeries, and man, it was tough to find in like the 45 minutes that I sort of researched it, because everything else goes like is sort of common sense, but I was just wondering if there was any you know, like things that were typical of these sort of injuries that you should look at, or that are going to be better off for you in the long run. I couldn't find any, but probably could. But what I did find was that it was all more about the how does it realign, because if it aligns fucking crooked, then it's going to affect your gait, affect everything else. So it's all about getting that to look as close to what it looked like before.
yeah.
So that, the alignment of how it joins back together. So yeah, what, 2 plates, 15-ish screws, I counted 15 on you.
Yeah, 15.
Man, some of them are chucked in at some rank angles, eh?
Oh.
You're like, oh, that's like me trying to make shit out of wood, and I just chuck another screw in it,
Yeah.
fucking whack one back that way.
But,
I'm sure there's a reason for it, but it looks like that, eh?
it's
Like,
just, yeah, Tetris. Oh, I'll chuck one there.
yeah, chuck one there,
Yeah.
chuck one back on the ankle.
And that was
like a tent peg.
it kind of kicked in X-rays, and I was like, holy shit, like, that's what they did. Like, okay, like,
Yeah.
like look at my leg. Like,
Yeah.
I've got that much in me now.
We're brothers, bro. I got a fucking wrist.
Hey,
They said
interested in the
that
scar.
they won't take it out.
No, which is quite interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that they would.
They gave me a choice. They said like you can take it out if you have problems with it. I was like, well, I don't want another surgery, so
Yeah, I don't even.
I haven't had any dramas with it. So
It'll be interesting, bro. I guess airports now will be going setting off the metal detectors.
yeah, I don't know. No,
Did
you.
they do that?
I didn't.
No.
Nah.
So it must be.
Oh, you might. I
Must
don't
be a special one or something, eh?
I'm sure like it's like surgical metal's probably
Different.
Like they're not just chucking slabs of fucking tin inside you, are they? I
Got
don't know.
down fabrication.
I don't know. Yeah, you tell me, man.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the story. How'd you go with the painkillers afterwards? So you still taking them?
Yeah.
Knocking you about a
I'm
bit?
trying to. No, I did 2 days. 2 days ago of just trying to stay off of the heavy ones.
Yep.
I'm not really a big fan of them. Like they turn me into a potato. They turn me into a potato, you know. And I just don't want to.
How good's the anesthesia?
Yeah.
Anesthetic?
Yeah.
Anesthesia. Like waking up out of it
Oh.
is like the funniest. Like I know you see all those ones where like kids get their teeth taken out of, or like and they just start talking mad shit,
Yeah.
which I'm always afraid of, mate. Always afraid of some fucking like vocalizing some of the shit that goes through your head. Like, have you ever thought that dogs are actually human?
Right, I've got a story for you.
No, but when I remember when I got my wrist done, and I was like, it was like the best sleep ever, but it was just like me, just like in a chair, and like you doze off for like a little close of your eyes for like 15 seconds, and it'll feel like eternity.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, leave me in this state. You know what I mean? Like, no wonder people get fucking addicted to all those like painkillers and opioids and shit that make them feel like just numb but like half sleepy. Like at that point in time, if someone said you want to live the rest of your life like this, I'd be like, fucking yes. Yeah.
It was after a big day, just boom. So I'm getting put to. Well, I finally get down to surgery. So this is my 3rd time lucky. So I got taken down to surgery twice.
Yep.
Full hairnet on and everything. Getting psyched. Alright, I'm gonna get this done.
You'd think they would have it better organised, like, oh, we're not going to get you dressed because it's not ready yet.
Well, you think they'd come to my room and just check me out before they take me downstairs?
They got a lot to worry about though. Yeah. They got all those fucking specimens in there. When do I get me surgery?
Yeah. I've been sitting here for days. That was me by the end of it.
I tell you what, isn't it? I suppose it is sort of like a reality show, eh? Like those
Like scrubs.
Nah, just call it the waiting room or something, and then just like set up a camera, mate. Set one up down at Rockingham on like a big long weekend or something, and see the units coming and going. And just like laugh. It'd be a great show, but you'd just be laughing at people in pain.
Yeah. Jeez, you probably see a few boys at you too. But so I'm finally getting to get surgery, and I've got like this practicing nurse putting in like again, I don't know what it's called, but they chuck the things into your veins.
Yep.
And so
A drip.
Yeah, kind of, but it's when they put the anaesthesia into your veins. It's like
I think it's still a drip.
Yeah.
Fuck man.
Anyway, it goes into your veins. She's sort of having a crack, but she's not doing it very well, and she's having to pull it in, pull it out.
Smash.
She's apologising.
Dude, you still got bruises.
Oh, bro, they tried, don't worry, they tried.
So you'd be a terrible smackhead then.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to her. I was like,
Just because you're not shredded
I'm
enough.
a shit druggie.
No, you're not shredded enough.
Yeah. Too much body fat. But so she's chucked it in, and then this fella's like, alright, you're gonna start to feel it now. Like, you start to feel a little bit. Like, oh no, and he's banged it in, and I just feel like this burn station got my bicep.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't think that's in my vein. And he's like, oh no, you're starting to feel it. And I'm like, hey bro, I'm all here. Like, I don't think that's in right. And he comes over and checks. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. It's not. So he tries the other one.
Fucking hell.
So I took one anaesthesia full in the arm.
Just sitting in there now. Where's it gone?
Well, I reckon.
Where'd it go?
Let me tell you the story. Let me tell you. So then he's banged one in my hand. So now I've had 2. Then I'm out like a light.
Yeah.
Apparently after surgery, yeah.
Get me there.
Went to the clouds.
Get me there.
I remember the last question he was asking me too. He's like, oh, how many beers you drank on the weekend? And I was like, oh yeah.
Fucking all of them?
Yeah. but the surgery goes 5 hours, and before they wake me up,
That's ages, eh?
yeah, so
You're just dead, basically.
yeah,
Really?
just having a wicked dream of nothing. And then, so before they wake me up, my bladder was full, so they chucked another one in me, anesthesia in me, and drained my bladder. So when I woke up,
How'd they do that? What do you mean? A catheter?
catheter.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I woke up,
Is that just you wake up and you're at like a urinal and some dude's like holding your dick clear? They made me drain my blood. I was like, what?
yeah,
They drunk me again. And then some dude held my dick at the toilet.
I woke up feeling quiet. So, but when I woke up, man, I've had 3 of these bloody tranquilizers always. Man, I woke up. I just remember my head was down. My head was down. I just remember all these people talking to me, like, Blake. And apparently I've like looked up, and they're all on my left side, and I've just looked at my right, and I'm like, look at me, Blake, and I'm looking at my right side, so everyone else is on the other side, and I'm like, I am looking at his. And I just couldn't, I couldn't lift my head, my tongue was there. Apparently I was a cracker. Mum reckons I was hilarious.
Yeah. She video it?
No, she got a few snaps.
Yes.
I reckon she reckons I come around the corner of the hallway and like my face was like, you know, Jim Carrey the mask?
Yeah.
And my my jaw was like hanging down the side. I was like half chucking a smile. Hang on. I wasn't a good time, but I didn't enjoy it because it's just too much, man. Like, apparently I was like, yeah, because they were telling me how much I've had. I was like, yeah, well, I'm a big horse. You need to take a few tranquilizers. I need to take a few tranquilizers to get this.
Give it a rest.
But yeah, bro. So I copped a few anesthesias or whatever it is to put me down, and man, yeah, I felt it when I woke up.
What happens to the one that just sinks into your fucking biceps?
Dunno.
Just body
Oh,
metabolises
yeah.
this and gets rid of it.
Probably.
Mate, just imagine the first person who was just like, want to get anesthesed,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck the word, and want to go under, and they're just like, yeah, we're just going to put you out.
Yeah. Stay.
Loose
Try this. Or imagine like.
And they're not knowing that they're going to come back out of it.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Mate, if someone Google history of anesthesia, you'd be fucked up.
Who was the first
They
one?
would do it to like chop arms off and shit, I bet.
Yeah.
You're like, we're going to have to get rid of this arm.
Yeah, you're fucked anyway.
Back in some medieval times.
But imagine just getting shot by one
Or
of those
people
dark
just-
animals down.
Yeah, or people just had painkillers and then they realised, oh, if we give someone heaps, they just go to sleep.
Yeah.
This one time we did it with old mate, he woke back up, so
And all
there you go, there's anaesthesia that's been created.
And unlucky Johnny had
Those
too
dudes
much.
get paid heaps too,
Yeah, they do. Yeah, not a bad.
because they could kill you pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. Feels so good.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, man.
Feels
But-
fucking mad.
Yeah, good times.
Alright, so that's pretty much the story, bro. I spent a little bit of last night doing your rehab program.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the fucking invoice. No. I reckon we can suss out like a Wednesday, because I have Wednesday mornings off. Oh, unless I've got PTs in there. But then I take the kids swimming. So Wednesdays is like my day off. But I reckon we can try and suss out, especially once you get the go ahead to be to do like unweighted, to do some partial weight bearing stuff, and get down the pools and do your rehab together.
Yeah.
So I reckon we can do that on Wednesdays at like sort of 8, 9-ish. I've got to be back for swimming at like 10. Freddie's at swimming.
Yeah.
So probably 8 then. Aquajetty open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we can start doing that, that's probably the way to go about it. I've already seen you doing a little bit of ground and pound and stuff. So mate, I didn't get this up on our OneNote for the potty notes, but I just did it in Excel, so we're just going to work our way through it, bro. Hopefully this gives you guys a bit of an insight into some injury rehab stuff. I know some of the times these potties aren't really information based, they're just sort of us shooting shit, which is, well, we're going to do that as well today, but we're going to go over some more fitness related shit too. So this is sort of my wheelhouse as an ex-phys. So rehab plan, man. Phase 1, unweighted, so you're not putting weight on it yet. You're on crutches. Wheelchair? What was the go with the wheelchair?
Tez.
Oh, he had one.
Sussed us out. No, he went to the shop bro and got me one so I could sit down the rugby. Good
Oh,
man.
really?
Yeah, good man.
Or hired one, or bought
Yeah,
one?
hired one.
Fuck.
Legend, eh?
I thought I was like, fucking hell, if he's in a wheelchair, they're like, it's pretty bad. I just thought, oh, crutches, but
Yeah.
so you got crutches, so but you're unweighted, like you're not putting your foot on the ground.
6 weeks unweighted.
So unweighted, basically, once you get over the painkillers knocking you around a little bit, and they will, like you'll feel, sometimes you'll just be like, oh fuck, it's lethargic, or you'll do something and be like, oh that was too much, and just like lose energy. I know that like I felt that way a little bit when I was trying to do, like I only had a wrist, so I'd go and rip in on the bike or something, but it would really knock me about. I'd be fucking knackered.
That session I did 2 days ago, bro, knocked me.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't feel good after.
yeah, no, so that will happen, man. Along this whole process, like knowing that there's going to be setbacks, knowing that times will suck, is a big thing as well. We'll get to a little bit of mindset as well because it's a huge part of the rehab. So the first phase is the unweighted phase. So the main goal is basically get over that sort of I need treatment part. So you've had surgery, you get like things are starting to get sorted now. So once you get sweet with your medication, your painkillers, they're not knocking you about too much, then you can start to focus on this. So the main goal is to limit the injury's effect on your strength and conditioning. So basically, what can you continue to do that isn't limited by that injury? So obviously the main things are, upper body. Can you get like strength training done without putting that at risk? Like there's ways to do it. And you were doing some like ground and pound stuff I saw.
Yeah, that was just a bit of conditioning at the end.
Yeah, so, but that's good. That's like, you're gonna lose less if you can do that.
Yeah.
It's not running, but it's still cardiovascular work. So you wanna try and limit the effect that injury is having on your whole body strength and conditioning. So specific exercises like you were doing, ground and pound, so boxing, you're off your foot, you're just kneeling on your knee. If it's no dramas, it's no dramas. Like surgeon and that might say, oh, we don't want you doing it. All right, sweet, what can you do? You could sit in a chair and punch a bag, like a hanging bag, stuff like that you could do. So whatever you want to call it, boxing, ground and pound, battle ropes, you can sit in the chair and do battle ropes, get your, obviously it's going to work your shoulders, but you can get your heart rate up that way as well. Upper body strength training,
Bench.
you just got to be careful moving around.
Yeah.
A lot of times with rehab, it's not so much the exercises that can be risky, it's getting to and from the exercise.
Yeah.
Bad back, bad knees, get down on the floor. Well, fuck mate, I can't, that's half the problem.
Yeah.
So you need to adapt things like that. So seated and machine-based stuff, so like chest press, you go sit on there, bang out some sets, bang out a lot of sets. Like seated row, 1 foot anchoring you at the front, you can do that sort of stuff. Lat pull down, if it's fine and you're not putting, as long as you're not putting any weight through that foot, you're not limited. So those are sort of movements. The other thing is what we call a cross-education phenomenon. So training your opposite leg. You're going to lose less strength on your broken leg if you train the opposite leg.
Yeah.
So I did like a whole 5-3-1 type of program for my other arm. It was easier doing it knowing it was my non-dominant arm, that it wasn't going to be like, it's that thing on like toy soldiers, that fucking massive one arm or something.
Yeah.
Is it toy soldiers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I broke my right arm, which is my dominant, so I was training my left. I was like, fuck yeah, it's all good because if anything, it's going to be smaller anyway.
Yeah.
You're not going to gain much size in one leg. Like if you do, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so most of that is neurological, so your nervous system basically educates itself, and there's like a mirroring effect. So you're going to lose less strength in your right foot, right leg, if you train your left.
Yeah.
So leg press, leg extension, hammy curl, again, things that make sense.
Yeah.
You're not going to try and do like one-legged squats or anything like that where you could possibly put your other leg at risk. So then we call that contralateral training of non-injured leg. A bit of cross-training phenomenon. Hip range of motion, which you probably can do. So hip flexion, which is basically that's like straight leg raise, so like lying straight leg raise. Abduction and extension, so lying on your back, lying on your front, lying on your side. Again, easier said than done. You've got to worry about getting to those positions, but you probably can do it once you start getting a little bit of movement. So lying on your back and just taking your hamstrings through a range of motion. Yeah, and then lying on your front, you're not going to get heaps of extension in prone, but it's better than none.
Yeah.
It's probably better than a hip flexor stretch would be sort of doing the same thing. Probably harder position to be in. And then side lying will just be abduction. So lying on your side, taking your foot away, the old aerobics style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, man, you do a lot of it with the guys that you train anyways, maintaining hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
So ball drills, and you can get real specific rugby stuff or tennis balls, bouncy balls, catch and pass, right hand, left hand, and do that for reps. And that's something that you could even focus on. I'm gonna get really fucking good. I'm gonna do 100 catch and throws with my left hand, and even standing on your good leg, that sort of stuff. Plenty of stuff you can do like that that will transfer over, that we typically miss in our normal training.
Yeah.
So you can get fucking big guru at some hand-eye coordination stuff. So that's basically my phase 1, man. So all things that you should be okay, yeah, we can do that, we can do that. So it's good to have this plan.
It just goes to show, and I think that's a big point, is that through injuries, there's so much you can still do. You can always train around injuries. There's so much you can do.
That's a great program.
Yeah, that is.
It's better than what a lot of able people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not so much a program, it's a plan, but look at that plan that I just said, why aren't you the best passer in the team now, if that's all you could do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sort of coming at it from a rugby point of view.
Yeah. Obviously,
we want to get back to activities of daily living first, but the end goal is for you to play rugby again.
Yeah.
I think that would be fuck. Even if it was one game, and it was fuck. We got back. We played that first game. That's a big deal. So it might be a year from now. It might be 18 months. It might be midway through season after next. Who knows? But that would be, if it's still your goal, that would be where we want it to be at. And I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. So those sort of things training, the hand-eye coordination, the catch and pass, the balance, all that sort of stuff.
Balance will be a big one.
That will come in the later phases as well. But it just gives you something to say, I've got this time now, let's spend it really wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next phase, so this is when you can be unloaded, I'm calling it unloaded / partial weight bearing. So this is where hydrotherapy can start coming in. Like I mentioned, the pool before, so we want to re-establish gait in an unweighted environment, so in the pool. So just walking forward and back, just trying to walk as natural as possible, just move your body with purpose, get back that little bit of proprioception, even though you're unweighted, progress from straight lines to lateral to even changing direction in the water. You could run little half cone drills, so you're drawing a box, you're running to a circle just in the water, so you're unweighted. You'll come down to ankle range of motion. So these are the sort of things I'm interested in seeing. If we lose heaps at the ankle, I reckon you might.
Yeah.
Ankle range of motion and then ankle strengthening exercise, so TheraBand, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, eversion, inversion. You could probably start getting a seated calf raise, so an unweighted calf raise, so you're just sitting there like you're in a chair and lifting your heels off the ground and pushing your toes down, because that's unweighted. Little ankle taps as well, and then just maintaining what you've been doing in phase 1. So that's pretty much phase 2 is big hydrotherapy focus, so that sort of partial unloaded phase. And these phases could be a month, could be 6 months, could be 2 weeks. Fuck, is my mouse gone? There we go. Phase 3, where it starts getting fun. So re-establishing, I'd call this weight bearing phase, so re-establishing your gait, your walking, normal walking. So that's where that alignment of how the actual fracture and the fixation takes, how much has that affected how you walk. It might affect it and to no ill effects from it. It might affect it and then all of a sudden, other things are popping up. So we re-establish that again, we go from straight forward, backwards, to lateral, to multi-direction, running arc or walking arcs, that sort of thing. We increase to hopefully pain-free walking, like hopefully during and after. But that might be a case of, we went walking up a bit sore the next day, so we get through that, so I'm not sore anymore, and then we slowly increase that volume, start to introduce body weight movements, squat, step up, hip thrust, and we progress it, like I said, through those different walking, sort of like linear, lateral, multi-directional, and then start to implement that jog walk protocol. So it might be 100 meters, might be 100 meters, 200 meter walk, jog 50, that sort of thing. So jog walk protocol, and then slowly build that up. Then we have the sort of return to performance phase, which could be broken up into its own phases itself. So we progress from jog, run to a sprint. And then we progress from straight lines, again, same sort of thing, progress from straight lines to changing to multi-directional, forward, back, lateral. We progress from the body weight exercise into strength and power exercises. We progress from just simple changes of directions to reactive agility. So more game specific, you running at me, left, you got to organise your body, push off your left, that sort of thing. Throughout this whole time, that body, that leg is getting remodeled, it's getting a progressive load through it to build itself up to be as strong, if not stronger, seeing as there's metal holding it together now, as before. And then same sort of thing, you progress from light to game intensity contact as well. That's basically walked you through 4 phases of what you do with rehab. Like I said, that phase 4 especially could be into its own phases.
There's a lot that can be done
That could be broken down 4 times in its own self. But it sort of goes from that, alright, we're sort of the treatment-ish sort of phase to the partial weight bearing to the weight bearing to the performance sort of phase. So there you go, man.
That's the process. Trust the process.
That's going to be it. Yeah. So there's so much. Like any program, there's always flexibility in it. Doesn't have to be rigid. It's not 2 to 4 weeks. It's we're going to do this for the next month. All right. If we're feeling good, I would probably say no, we're still going to do it for a month. We're not going to progress in 2 weeks just because we feel we can. Just give it that month. It's a long time. We've got a long time. And if we do everything that we mentioned in there, probably going to end up being a better athlete, very well informed, know a lot about your body as you go along as well. So it's definitely not a rush, but having a plan and a focus on it makes things a lot easier. So there you go, bro. What are your thoughts? You got any thoughts on that?
I'm looking forward to it, and I think this is where it becomes important now as well, that coach-athlete relationship where feedback is essential as well between the two parties, and that's what we try and implement when we're PTing or training athletes as well. Is like, how do we feel? Obviously, we've got to bear in mind what the next process is as well, but that athlete feedback as well.
Man, just having more of a plan. A lot of the time people, that brownie, man. A lot of the time people don't need a plan. Sometimes I've spent so long periodizing programs for people, it just goes out the window. They go from training 4 times a week, some shit happens with work, or kids, or free time, or their ability to come in, or whatever it ends up being, and then that periodized program is just out the window. So the first things first is like, alright, consistency of training. Then it's like, alright, intensity of training. Then it's like, alright, plan of training, that sort of thing. Like, because you can't have, a plan's only as good as the effort you put into it. So you need to have the effort first.
Yeah, 100%.
And you need to have the consistency in order to have the effort, that sort of thing. So we can go over the top. It's easy for me to write that for you because I'm going to be on your ass making sure you do it.
Yeah.
So it's good to have, but not everyone needs it. Not everyone needs, like, your general person training for strength and fitness just needs to worry about fucking turning up
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
That's
As
that's
brutal
the
as that
one.
sounds, like I'll write you a like career-long program.
Yeah.
I could do that and be confident, like you'll be ripping. Give me 10 years, I'll write a 10-year program for you. You'll be ripping, guaranteed. You're not gonna be able to do it as it's written. Exactly, like it is what it is, really. Anyway, so that's the rehab process. I enjoy writing that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
It lets me be like a little bit inventive, think out of the box. I like the ground and pound you're doing the other day. I was a little bit like, is he leaning on that knee? You might not want to be leaning on that knee.
Yeah, it was playing around. It was a playing around sessions to feel.
Yeah.
And the point that you made as well with that program and moving around 2 different stations as well. We got that little home gym set up.
Yeah.
And you're right, because we've got like that chest, like that, you know, the home gym. That's kind of the tower.
Yeah. It's got like a chest press, a row, a lat pull down.
Yeah. And you're right. It's finding that proper position. And I was even a bit sore of just sitting on it, and I thought that I didn't have my weight on my leg, but I did.
Yep.
And it's just like, okay, like just fine.
Yeah, and I know you don't have a broken knee,
No.
but that you'll know about it if you put like weight on that knee.
Yeah.
So it's you got to be careful with it. So I would have went with I sold the Boxing Day gear though, by the way. I would have
Got it.
go and buy another one.
Yeah, I'm bringing.
Chuck it in the
I'm
corner.
bringing the one in from home.
You know the way to do it would be because we don't have it to hang.
Yeah.
Is to chuck it in probably that back corner because that's the 2 real walls joining each other in that back corner, and then just put a chair in front of it and then just go that way.
Yeah.
So you're sitting,
Yeah.
throwing your combos.
I'll be getting it out.
Yeah. Just go get a cheapy one, man.
No, I'll bring in the one from home.
Oh, you got one at home?
Yeah, that's
sweet.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so that'll get your boxing sorted, and the same sort of thing. Set up the battle ropes, bring your chair over.
I'm looking forward to it. It's
Get the
gonna be
battle
good.
ropes going. I'm looking forward to. I might even. We should try and make some fucking YouTube vids out of it.
Yeah.
I had fun doing. When I broke my wrist, I had a lot of fun, like because I was sort of limited in what I could do. I had a lot of fun, like editing those videos together and sort of making those videos. Even though like broken wrist wasn't the biggest deal. Like I could obviously move around pretty easy. I could do a lot of other things. It sort of got me into running. Like just because it was like, when can I run? You know, like, oh, not just yet. Just with the sort of impact that running can produce sort of everywhere. But it got me into running a little bit. But I had fun making those videos. So we could possibly do it together, get the GoPro going.
Yeah.
I keep losing my fucking mouse, man. What's going on here? Alright. Let's go into a little bit of mindset, man. A little bit of mindset. So I feel like this is something that mindset stuff is something I feel like I should know more about because I like to think I've got a good mindset. But verbalizing it to other people is a tough thing for me.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to just say, just fucking get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's, I understand the way that your mindset, because I know the way you are as well. You're like that. You have a very strong mindset. So.
But I feel like I've got the, what would you say?
Yours just
The
crack on and
fucking,
get it
not
done.
the fucking skills, but I feel like I've got the time under my belt that I could be like give a lot of input in that regard. But I find it tough to try to get people to, I don't know, be as positive as me or be as like wanting to do the same things I do. I don't know. I can't even
Putting it into words to motivate someone.
Yeah.
In a way.
I think it's more
Or saying the right
actions.
things. Yeah.
I definitely find it easier to be motivational through my actions more than words.
Yeah.
There you go. I said it.
Do as I do.
Yeah. I find it hard to probably sympathise or get on the same level as other people to try to get them on my level, which sounds like, oh, I'm not, you know, but yeah.
Oh, it's just,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know where I come from? So I want to talk a little bit about mindset though. A couple of things that I spoke about with Brendan yesterday, one of our members who's doing some like army related, special forces related sort of training. Like he really wants to get into that sort of realm. So he's doing some hardcore shit with the guys from the Mill Gym as well. A couple of ex-servicemen, SAS sort of dudes. I think that's what they are. They're doing like some 36-hour challenge where they're just getting beasted, sort of boot campy, like fucking army boot campy.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Dude, that'd be sick to jump into.
Yeah, sort your brain out. Right now, this is gonna suck. You're not sleeping. We're waking. Yeah.
Let's find out what you got.
Yeah. So, and we're talking about, you know, these little voices that you have, and I call it sort of mental reps. I'm not sure if I've spoken on it before, but we have that voice that pops up that says we could take the easy road, we could quit completely and just be happy with a mediocre performance or a mediocre effort. And it's turning that voice, not turning that voice off, but reacting to that voice in the positive makes the next time a lot easier. So I call it mental reps. I did a lot of it last year. It would come up and I would have these, you should just walk for a bit, man. Those sort of feelings.
Yeah.
Like you're still walking, like I might be fucking 15 k's deep, so you're still ripping, but I'll just walk for a bit, man. And then, fuck, like push that aside and keep going. It happened the other day, my phone turned off, I had 10 k's left of a 21k. My phone turned off and I was at the end of my street because I just run around Melbourne Bay. And my phone turned off and I looked down the street and I thought, fuck, just go home, bro. Because I always like have music on and I've sort of told myself I need to have music.
Yeah, okay.
I need to have an audio book.
You're comfortable with it?
Yeah. I was listening to the Ross Edgley book,
Oh,
Art of Resilience,
yeah.
which is sort of ironic.
Yeah. I'll get you going.
So I'm running around, I sort of looked down the road and I was like, just go home, bro. It's like fucking 9 p.m. Like you've already run 10Ks, just call it a 10K.
Yeah.
And like the plan was 21. Fuck that. Like I probably even said it out loud, like, fuck that. It always seems to be on my right hand side too. That little like bitch ass AJ said, man, I still did 10Ks, that's good enough. Like, your phone just died. Then I started thinking, all these thoughts go through my head, and I'm just sort of looking as I'm running past the turn off to the street, sort of thinking, oh, what if Kelly tries to call you, your phone's off? And like all these little things, like it's not that big, she'd never called me before on a run.
Yeah.
Like I start making these little excuses that, oh, I should go home.
Yeah.
Push it to the side, right, I'm gonna call him right hand AJ, fuck off.
Yeah.
And then just keep going. PB the half marathon, stoked. But that little thing, if you can keep pushing it aside, it becomes a habit. If you keep saying, 10K is good enough, you're not giving yourself the chance to, fulfill your potential.
Yeah. See what you can actually accomplish.
Yeah, so I was talking about that to Brendan and he was like, yeah, exactly the same thing. Like, makes the next one easier, the mental reps.
Yeah.
So every time that you do that, it's another little, got that rep done. I talked about it with Connor, who's doing some police stuff. He's doing the testing to get into the police and he wants to go to TRG and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So man, so we do a beat test. We're doing a lot of beat tests as warm-ups. We're not just running it, we're doing sort of like level 5 to 8, level 5 to 9. So like little sort of 4 or 5 warm-ups of it. He had a lot of problems with shin splints, so we're just making sure that we're not chucking in the deep end. And I said, man, when it gets to the end, every time you turn around is a little mental rep. Now eventually, because it's a test, you are going to break or you're not going to make the beat. Like it's a test of your physical capacity. So you can't just think yourself into oblivion, like by trying harder. Eventually, you will fucking stop or slow down or not be able to make the beats, that sort of thing. But I sort of said to him, it's like, man, there's going to be like 20. If you can get through 20 where it sucks and there's like a mental like battle, at the end of every fucking turnaround on that beat test, you just think, fuck, turn around, win that, like it's a mental rep.
Yeah, win that.
Because we've all seen that beat test where there's that one step where we're like, we feel sorry for ourselves for like that one step, and then you're out the next interval.
Yeah.
So every time you come, when it starts getting tough, man, just say 20. You do 20 more reps. That's fucking 2 levels nearly, most of the time. It's like 20 mental reps, man, at the end when it starts sucking.
And
makes
it adds
sense
up.
so much easier. Now, to put this into your context, you're gonna have these times where it's all too hard, where, why did this happen to me? It's how you react to those. You're allowed to have those thoughts, 100%. It would be weird if you didn't. You'd be a fucking psychopath. But you're allowed to have those thoughts. It's how you react to those thoughts. Do you go, oh, I've got training tomorrow, fucking training today sucked. Ah, fuck. Boys are going out for beer. Oh, fuck. I'll go out for beer, won't train tomorrow. Then like you've made that work, like now you've just made it worse.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh nah, today's another day. Like tomorrow's another day, we're gonna get up, we're gonna get at it again.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of, and that's just one example. It could be, you know, just being in a shitty mood about it, or letting it affect your day to day. It's how you react to those setbacks, those shitty little times that you have. Why can't I do this? Fucking hell, I wish I was playing. It's how you react. So, and you've already sort of, you can see your mindset shining through because you've already gone, like you've already done a session. You're punching a bag and you've already gone down to training. So it's not like, oh, I'm injured, I'm not gonna go to rugby, fuck that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, can I go and run water? Can I fucking fill water bottles? Can I, you know, do some sort of coaching, that sort of thing. So it would be easy to just go missing.
Yeah.
You know.
And that would probably be worse because that's when I would, get down and it would be a lot harder.
So the thing is to, I said this before on the podcast, I think it might have even been the title of one of our podcasts. If you know something's going to be a problem before it's a problem, it's less of a problem.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Probably not.
But it does. I learned a lot. You know, this is my second surgery for the year.
Yeah, we did mention that.
Yeah, so remember at the start of the year I
Bro, it's hot in here. I'm about to take my shirt off on the pod.
Gee whiz, that hit me out.
Mate, we're being very, I don't know, not loose. Yeah?
This is good. This is good.
Getting to some nitty-gritty. Yeah.
But with my mindset where I'm at now, this is my second surgery for the year. So for those who don't know, I had 2 hernias fixed on my groin.
Weak.
Just pre-season. So I did worked pretty hard in the off season.
I had everything this time. It's just my thumbs. Sorry to interrupt.
He's come the same way. So I had my hernias fixed up at the start of the pre-season. So I worked hard all off season with the boys. Was feeling good. I knew this surgery was coming. Surgery comes, and it was actually harder than what I thought it was going to be. So I thought,
Dude, hernia knocks people around, though.
right, and I didn't expect it for what it was. I didn't respect it.
Yep.
So I was in some good nick coming into the surgery. Thought, oh yeah, 6 weeks, sweet as, I'll be sweet back up, ready to roll. And after the surgery, I was that sore, just an awkward spot. It hurt to walk, get out of bed, through your core as well. And I just watched myself deteriorate physically.
Yeah.
And I had some stuff going on personally as well, like relationship stuff. And it really took me to a dark place. And I really went down an avenue of where it was, I was start getting on the piss, dying about training.
Yeah.
And I went down that dark, and I was there for a good couple of months, and I learned a lot about myself and being in that situation that I come out with a saying, and it was literally, it's either going to make you or it's going to break you.
Nice.
And that's where I'm at now with this second one. I was gutted. I finally, just after this coronavirus, I finally got my strength training back up to where I was feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I worked hard in the gym. Hernia's not, I can't feel it anymore.
Yeah.
2 games in, I'm telling you, bro, I'm starting to find some form. Like,
I think his chat before the broken leg was, you'll see team of the week, mate. You'll see number 12, and I was like, fuck, here we go.
So I'm feeling good, and you know, I was getting ready to perform and working hard, and then bang, you know. And I remember saying it to mum, and I believe in the law of attraction now, bro, because I was saying to mum, you know, I got some stuff going on in the background, personal wise again, and I was saying to mum, I was like, all I need is my gym and my rugby and no serious injury, and I'll be sweet. And I dwelled, and I kept saying it. I kept saying it, and then boom, big injury.
Yeah.
Big injury. But I was gutted, bro, and that first week of being in the hospital and everything's new, so it hasn't really kicked in yet, and you're kind of like, oh yeah. Like,
it's this next sort of few weeks is
Where
that's why I was like, oh, we'll get Blake in for a potty and sort of almost like sound like a dick, but like give you something to do.
Yeah.
Give you something to look forward to, that sort of thing. And I think the boys came around and sort of did some breakfast and stuff, which is good.
Oh man.
So those little things are definitely very helpful to start with. But you're supposed to like you go through those stages.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a good.
There is some fucking, what are they called? There is like an injury model where you go through and it's like you're like you sort of think, why me? Then it's acceptance.
Yeah.
Those sort of things.
Oh, but I tell you, like, so it didn't sink in, and Monday this week was when I had my moment, and I was like, I didn't come to work on Monday, like, and I was like, I'm not going to work this week, and I was like, fuck. And that's when it sunk in.
Find something, keep yourself busy.
Oh, you just pick, but as you said, every day is a new day, and that's how I'm seeing it. So it's like, I'll have a shit day on Monday, wake up Tuesday, right, what are we up to? Like, let's go again, you know? And that's this saying that's going to get me through it is, it's either going to make it or it's going to break it.
Well, I said that to you as soon as it happened. I said, man, there's 2 things that'll come out of this. I think this is it. Yeah. Anger, depression, from like, so it's a, what do they call it? A cognitive appraisal model of psychological adjustment from athletic injury. I didn't learn it as that. But yeah, you go through those stages, so that's typical, man. Like you're gonna be like, fuck, like angry, like think, why did this have to happen to me?
Yeah.
Then you start to come to accept it.
And it's gonna come and go. It's only week 2. You know, I've got a long process, but it's day by day thing.
So knowing that these things take place, makes it so much easier. So you can sort of think about the thoughts that you're having, as deep as that is. So what, I'm thinking this, alright, I need to react to it unemotionally in order to have a more positive outcome. Like I mentioned with the hand-eye coordination stuff. So that to me is something that's like, alright, you can do that. You can like get like tunnel vision and become like fucking sick. Hand-eye coordination. You can do the same sort of thing with anything. Like I mentioned the videos, I was making videos that was like keeping me busy.
Yeah. You
already asked me the other day when you came in, it's like, oh, you know, what can I study up? I'll just study up your own injury.
Yeah.
Like be a wizard on like what's happening from an anatomical point of view, you know, physiological, what's happening at the, like, with the actual bone itself, what sort of surgery you had. There's, you know, different terms that sort of like, I would go 100% into that and really, you know, get to know that as your first port of call. So today I'm going to learn about, you know, like how bone remodels itself, that sort of stuff, man. Because it's so fresh and you're dealing with it yourself, like put yourself into it.
Yeah.
That's where I would, you know, you sort of ask me, and there's all the like strength conditioning stuff. You know, go study up on like active myosin and muscle contraction and all that stuff. No, man, go study like what you've done and like really know about it. But yeah, fuck. Now where were we, bro?
Just the mindset.
Yeah.
It'll either,
So the
it'll either make you or it'll break you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I said to you. I said, fucking hell, I lost the plot there for a minute. Had a half stroke. I said straight away, I was like, man, you'll either be, and I fucking hate these sort of people. You'll either be that guy with the leg injury, or the ankle, bum ankle, or you know, the just those people that have it and they let it become them.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy with the bum ankle. I can't do that. My fucking leg.
Yeah, I can't.
10 years, like I see it all the time with like old footy players and shit like that. Oh, I've got a shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, do ya? Yeah. You know, and they're the shoulder guy, and they've created these limitations in their own head now. Pain and limitations there's a massive psychological component to it, and it's not my area of expertise, definitely, but so many people talk themselves into being in worse shape than they actually are. And they talk themselves into like, I can't do this, I can't do that, I've got the shoulder, oh that's gonna hurt me. Rather than, you know, having that more positive outlook at it and saying, yeah, oh fuck, like for myself, I broke my wrist. I've done my heaviest cleans since then. Like I'm still like front squatting with it, but I could have also been like that, oh I can't do push-ups, I have to do them on my knuckles. I could have been that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you are seeing people that do that.
And it is a mindset thing. Sorry to interrupt. It is a mindset thing, but it's also how much effort did you actually put into your physical fucking rehab.
And that's
too.
exactly what I was going to say. You ask some people, so what did you do to fix it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
like-
Well, no wonder why you can't.
So many people say, "Oh, you seen the physio?" No, nah.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I was going to a hand therapist. Tell those fuckers to turn their music down. Wait up.
Boys are going hard in the queue, huh?
Fucking just
Eh?
booming the bass, man.
AJ's going out to tell the boys to turn the tunes down a bit. Boys are getting into their Friday session. Good to see.
We're gonna have dead air.
Killing. No. I was saying
You were like,
the boys are.
you just in here by yourself. Unique New York.
Spit some bars.
New York.
Boys are trying to get on a
I didn't
Friday
play the
session.
fucking door. Have you eaten that pie?
No, but I'm honestly full of.
Bro, eat that pie.
I'll
Fucking
say
hell. Don't ever come to the podcast full. What are you doing to me? So yeah, man, I feel like the mindset stuff, now that I'm getting into, it comes part and parcel with endurance-based stuff. So now that I'm getting into this, I think I need to try to figure out a way to verbalize my actions and make motivation and mindset a little bit more of a, not feather in my cap, string to my bow. Is that the right way to
A notch in your belt.
Notch in your belt. Yeah. You know what I mean though?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I do have something to add there.
Yeah.
And I've been able to show it through endurance, basically. Endurance events, and you know, people have said that that's helped them, seeing what I've done, that's helped them, you know, start or get off their ass or do the training session that they're thinking that they shouldn't do. But I'm not very good at verbalizing it, so I feel like that's something that I can work on personally. And do a better job.
Maybe a technique for you to do that is that when you come in from your runs, write down where you had that little moment where it was like, I can either walk here
Yeah.
or I can keep going. Or, you know, the little battles that you have on them long runs?
Bro, I know, like I had some the other day. Half the time, I'm just in my head just going, fuck, you are ripping.
Oh, here he is.
I was like, bro, if you had more time, I would have kept running for another hour.
Well,
Just being honest, bro.
pick a harder trail then, boy.
Just being honest. Yeah, run faster then. Ah, shit. Anyway, that's something I think I want to work on as well. Especially over the what do we call it in Perth? It wasn't was it a shutdown? I keep calling it a quarantine, but we weren't really quarantined, were we? Shutdown? Gym shutdown.
Yeah.
Over the shutdown, when I was doing 1 million of those fucking daily sessions, I started reading books on Stoicism.
Okay.
So the Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius is the most famous.
Oh, that's
You got-
Gladiator, right?
No?
No? Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe.
No. So
Marcus Aurelius?
just for a sort of a philosophy, so there's like Marcus Aurelius, and then I started reading Seneca, and they're all these like sort of ancient Greek philosophers, and it's all about reacting unemotionally and sort of carrying onwards when you come to a fork in the road or an obstacle. But the reacting unemotionally was a big one, and it's a lot of the writings and that. Some of them are hard to get through, man. Like Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is like his journal that's sort of been translated and made into a book, but it was never written as a book. So it's all that like old timey as speak and
Okay,
hard. Like for me, it's hard to read,
yeah.
but you would see all these quotes, and it's it's about having like a stoic outlook on things, and the big one though was reacting unemotionally, and I feel like from an injury rehab perspective, that's something that you need to be aware of. Am I reacting emotionally to this setback, or this problem that I'm having? And rather than reacting emotionally, because it doesn't normally, create a good outcome,
No.
we sort of react with purpose, react to have a more positive outcome.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing that, obviously it's a perfect time when your business has been shut down to start getting into that sort of thing. So it was like, what can we do next? How can we do this? So, it was straight away I sort of vibed with it anyway, because it's up my alley.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, everything's online. All right, we're doing programs. All right, we're keeping busy doing all those sessions, that sort of thing. So it's one thing to think about as well. So the obstacle is the way you want to go. You're going to go towards it. The obstacle is the way, as they say, and you'll be better off, confronting it head on, knowing things are going to come. You're going to come across things, but you'll have strength, determination, motivation to carry on through it. How's that sound?
That's good.
There's me getting
Good.
fucking
That's good.
motivational, bro.
That's good.
All right, I think we can get off that topic a little bit. Let's freshen it up a little bit, bro. Let's get a little bit lighter with the vibe.
Yeah.
What have you been watching on Netflix?
Kingdom.
Kingdom.
So,
Is that fucking Viking sort of shit?
No, it's a MMA.
Oh, yeah.
MMA.
Frank Grillo's in the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he owns a gym in it, and he's got one of that Nick Jonas is in it.
Nick Jonas.
Yeah, one of the Jonas.
Is that the hot
brothers.
one?
Oh, I don't know. I know he's.
Oh, I nearly caught you there, right? Yeah, it's the hot one. Hey.
No, I only know it was him because my sister came in and was like, "Oh, that's one of the."
Oh, get
Jonas
rid of
brothers."
it. Get rid of it.
But
Yeah, you've
it's
been
actually
watching that.
it's not bad, bro. Yeah, Jordy Hansen got me onto it, so it's pretty easy watching, and especially when you're sitting there and you popped a couple of pills and your tongue's hanging out your mouth.
Living the dream.
Your tongue's hanging out your mouth. It's easy watching.
Invite me over. No.
It's easy watching.
No, we're not condoning taking drugs. So Kingdom, anything else?
No, that's it, eh? Oh, you know what I've been watching? Old rugby games, bro. So I've been watching...
League or Union?
Union.
Blech.
I've been watching...
Carl Spencer playing?
Yeah, I watched a couple of old school Blues games.
Couple of Quade era Reds games?
Yeah.
Fuck
well,
yeah.
I'm watching 2015 World Cup and 2011 World Cup. Dude, there were some good teams back there. Australia's team in 2011 was pretty good.
Dude, I was trying to find covers to do now. I've been making little video game
Yeah, I like
fucking
that. I like
things.
them edits too.
I tried to find a rugby game one and put like me and you on it. Dude, someone put Sterling Mortlock on a rugby game cover.
Oh, God.
What the
Nah.
I used to think he was the ugliest rugby player, eh?
I'm wearing his gloves.
Gloves. You know who fucking ripped the gloves?
Very.
Matt Giddo
He did.
Ran the gloves.
So did that Heinjack, Chris Heinjack.
Henjack.
Henjack, halfback, Matt
He used
Henjack.
to rip the gloves. Did you ever run them?
Nah.
I ran them for a bit in juniors.
Did ya?
Oh,
Yeah, you were one of them kids.
we all did. Nah, I play scrum off, you know.
Gotta get that extra.
Play Blakey when you actually get the ball.
Here he is. That's me, boy.
But, yeah, no, those I've been some of the old rugby league games. Oh,
Yeah.
some of the players, man. The old I watched. What was it? It was the old Raiders. The old Raiders,
Yeah.
like '94. Oh, mate, the team was stacked.
Bro, them old league games, I like watching that Gordon Tallis highlights, man. He was brutal, bro. Like, he would just crack people, like, just...
There was one swinging arm, and this dude goes off, and he's just like, his face is just munted, and they're like, oh, there's not much in that. The commentators, man, it was just blood. It was assault, bro.
Yeah.
It used to be so barbaric, eh?
They must look at the game now and be like, fuck.
Oh yeah, but that's why half of them are fucking complete dum-dums, bro.
Yeah, they
Can't think straight.
But
There's
that's
so
what
many
we're watching.
swinging arms, just chopping people in the face. They'll just run it off, mate, or put something else on.
I think it's Origin 1 or 2, and it's like their first scrum. And
Oh, they just scrum on?
They just come for a scrum, and then they're both...
Dude, they take their fucking hands.
Yeah.
Like other beat syndrome. It's like taping his hands
I
up.
love that.
You
Like,
kidding me?
Yeah.
Just ready to box.
Yeah, just ready to just have a crack, and then you know what the best thing, then they get on with it. And like, it's just, alright, off you go.
Yeah, so good.
Now run it straight at each other, bro.
Yeah, run a
Off you
straight
go.
challenge your whole career.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Dude, loved it.
So that's what I've been watching, just old school.
I've been catching a little bit of those old games.
Yeah.
The old Raiders, man, some of the old teams, because that was like what I grew up on, like those like mid-90s rugby league
Yeah.
was my fucking jam. The Raiders and the Broncos used to be my team. But the Raiders team, man, it had like Brett Mullins, Ricky Stewart, Bradley Clyde, Laurie Daly, Mal Meninga,
Yeah,
Noah Druku,
There's some big names.
Oh. Ferner, Walters.
That would have been like the
That's like what you-
Newcastle days, eh, with the Johns brothers.
That was just a little bit before.
A
little bit before, it was sort of like, I think it went like Raiders, then the Broncos were the shit, and then the Knights were the shit, sort of like early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, I think it was a bit like that.
Yeah.
So the Knights, I think, only won one grand final. I think, fuck knows. But that Raiders team, man, whew, that was my shit.
My mum's a Raiders supporter.
I sort of used to be because it was Rockingham Raiders. That was
Yeah.
like the team I used to play for. I used to run out in the number 3, like Big Mal.
Bro, do you know what'd be sick? Having like one of the old Rockingham Raiders jerseys, man. You never see anyone getting around with them. I wonder what they did with all them jerseys.
Fridge gave me one.
Did he?
Yeah.
You got one?
Don't know where it is.
Fuck, bro, you gotta find that. My uncle played for him, and like, I've been asked, oh, you got any jersey? He reckons he does, but fuck.
There was some cool jerseys, like
Oh, cool jerseys, man. Old school collars and everything, bro. That'd be sick.
there was a white one that we had as well.
Yeah.
A white, green, and blue hoopy sort of get up.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be
that's
sick.
good, mate.
It'd be cool to wear. Like,
Long live the Raiders, man. Raiders used to crank.
Yeah.
Played for them from like just like 14s or something. I've been watching a show called, I finished The 100. A show called The 100,
Yeah,
bro.
it's
I was
in the
way
cover.
too invested in that and it just went bonkers.
Oh, really?
Bro.
So
It was
what-
cool, like the
Out of
whole
10, what's
premise.
your rating?
Oh, bro.
What's your review?
Fucking 5.
Oh, true. So not even worth the time?
The first season's sick, right?
Yeah.
Earth became uninhabitable, so they like sent everyone up into a spacecraft called, what do they call it? The Ark.
Yeah.
So like Noah's Ark sort of thing, but they put it into space.
Yeah.
And then it's like the next generation. So like they've all grown up, they're like born in space, born on the Ark. But they're running out of oxygen, so they're like, shit, in order to survive longer, we have to get rid of some people. So they send 100 people back down to the ground, just thinking, like as a bit of an experiment, like they'll probably die,
Good luck.
but maybe they'll be able to live and send back signal like, hey, we can live down here. So they go back down, and then they like realize there's still people that have been there for like 2-3 generations,
Oh,
and they
sure.
call them grounders, and then have a fucking battle war and shit.
Oh,
But then
yeah.
the whole thing, bro, it captures you in, because I was like, that's sick, that's
Yeah.
cool, like, it almost could happen.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm not really into big sci-fi and shit like that, but I was like, that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
sweet. And then they get you with like season 2, and then season 3. By the end of season, I think I've watched like 7 seasons, bro.
Jeez.
Like it's taken me 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long story.
Dude, by the end of season 7, spoiler alert, they end up freezing himself, putting himself to sleep for like a whole nother generation while the new spaceship they're on finds another planet. Then they go to another planet where people are able to download their consciousness and put them into other people that they call like hosts. So these people have been living forever or for ages through other people's bodies.
Right.
But just like it just lost the plot, right?
Yeah,
So they wake themselves up, but then there's like an army that's sort of waiting to be woken up as well on the fucking spaceship. Oh, it starts getting loose, bro.
Yeah.
And then there's a thing that happens on this planet that they found where like the sun does this thing and then everyone just wants to kill everybody.
Oh, okay.
It's it goes so loose. Like, why did I watch this whole thing? That's called The 100. Go watch it. Watch the first season. The first season cranks. Then I started watching The Rain.
The Rain.
The Rain, bro. Now this sort of got me because it was, you know, like I didn't watch it, but there was like that show, The Pandemic. It was on Netflix, and it was like, oh, this is crazy because it's sort of happening.
Yeah.
And there's this one called The Rain, and it just starts off, and it gets you in as well, because it starts off, this girl's like late to class, and she's got an assignment. She's like going in like, oh, sorry I'm late, we've got an assignment ready, blah, blah, and then her dad comes rushing in, it's like, what are you doing? Answer your phone. It's set in Denmark, so they're all Danish, but they're speaking English, right?
Yeah.
And then so he grabs her out of school and was like, you should have been answering your phone, puts her in the car, and then over the radio in the car you hear like, you know, reports of people becoming ill from the rain. It's like, oh, what's this about? And there's it running, and the dad's driving really fast. He's like, Dad, what's going on? What's going on? They end up having this big crash, and that crash, it comes over the radio, it's like, reports of more deaths from people exposed to the rain. And they realise like the rain is killing people.
Oh, yeah.
It's like infecting people, and those people are infecting other people. And then they run off into this cabin in the woods, puts them down into this cabin, and they stay there for like 6 years. That's like the first episode, and then they get told not to go outside. Their dad will be coming back. He doesn't come back, and then they hear a knock and they think it's him. They go outside, and this dude like tries to infect them. Spoiler alert: their mum comes to help them, and their mum ends up dying, and they're stuck in the bunker for like 6 years before they get out.
True.
And then it carries on from there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Alright.
So if anyone's into watch The Rain.
Yeah.
And then I got to the end of season 1. It got a little bit, you know how they're like, it's almost like they write it and then someone's like, oh yeah, nah, we'll make it. And then they're like, fuck, I better write the next few.
Yeah.
And then they just start making shit up, like Lost.
Yeah, it starts going zigzags.
Like The 100 did.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, what the fuck is going on now?
Yeah.
It's sort of, I could see it maybe possibly starting to go that way, but it was pretty cool, like they couldn't get rained on.
Yeah, okay.
They couldn't touch like water. Sort of like, so they eventually like decide we're not going to stay in this fucking bunker, there's no food here anyway.
Yeah.
Then they go outside and there's all these people that are like roaming around fucking...
Like zombies kind of thing.
Nah, like roaming around that haven't been infected yet.
Oh,
but they're
sure.
like, no one's got any food.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they're all like trying to find food basically, yeah. But then they know where all the other bunkers are.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. So that's what I've been watching, bro.
I've been jamming 2K heaps.
Oh, basketball?
On the PlayStation, yeah.
Well,
Wasn't
I
much
need
of
to
a
get one
gamer, but damn, I'm getting good. You don't want the smoke.
Here we go. I haven't played since maybe like 2014, I feel.
Yeah, I'd get
I'm looking forward to Skate 4 though. Skate 4's coming out,
Yeah.
or getting made.
It's crazy the graphics, man. It's like watching like a movie, eh? It's crazy. It's like,
The 2K stuff it's a whole thing, isn't it? Like people spend money on it, buying like
yeah,
that
you can make
virtual currency and stuff.
Yeah, I don't delve into
All the online stuff is loose to me.
Yeah.
I remember getting it with my Xbox. I got like a free trial. I was just playing Skate because that's all I got the Xbox for. And then there's just like there's people just like baked off their shit, just like, yeah man, that was crazy. And I was, what?
Yeah, man.
Who am I talking to?
The
I
chat,
didn't know what
yeah.
was going on. Because it was just like free Skate, but you could hear the people that were around you or something.
Yeah,
I have no idea. And they're just baked, man. Just like, oh yeah. Like,
12-year-olds just having a crack. It was funny, I was playing a bit with the boys and that, it's Call of Duty, and they get their headphones on and feel the rugby boys.
I've never done that shit, eh?
But I never got into it. But then, because the boys, we're playing with the boys, so it actually gets quite funny. But I didn't realise, the same as you, that like, everyone can hear our chat. So I'm like chatting, like, talking about rugby training and like the game and that. And like they're like, oh, unmute everyone, and you can hear like this whole group. So these like 50 odd people are hearing us talk about rugby. And then
Dude, this is how people get gotten, eh?
yeah,
They're like,
dude, and then
people
you hear some of the
listening into this
abuse.
shit.
Oh,
I could only imagine the fucking abuse.
yeah, it's funny because
Online
the boys,
Jesus.
yeah, the boys wind like other people up, but then some of the shit you hear through them mics, you're just like, hey, bros, how are you?
The government's downloading all of that.
Yeah, like,
They're gonna have you saying some wild shit.
yeah, I haven't said nothing, I just mute that stuff.
Dude, I just had that vanilla little scroll thing. Look at that, bro.
That's good.
You want some of that?
Oh, it breaks off a little bit.
Oh, we'll break them off a little bit. This is I think it's like a custard. I won't give you the bit. I fucking hate
No, that's alright.
custody.
Cheers, bro.
Can you reach that? Little custody number there from Pinjarra Bakery. Sponsor the poddy if you want, of course. Oh no. Oh cool. Oh, so good cream.
Yeah, that's good. Love the cream.
Apparently the best part of the last podcast was me chewing into the microphone. Eating food. It's so moist.
Making people hungry.
Yeah, bro. So that's what I've been watching anyway. Fucking hell, we're at about an hour and a half. Like, I don't think we're going to run for 3 though.
Nah.
Well, shit to do. How you getting home anyway? Am I dropping you off?
Either or, I can call.
Sweet, bro.
My mumsy's been looking after me.
Sweet. All right, we do have a little bit to get through though. Couple of questions, listener topics.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I'm not sure who sent this one. It was just an Instagram handle. It's a long name or something. RPE and percentages. When to use what? Which one do I use? Rating of perceived exertion or percentages? Now, it is easy. It's easy to sort of just back one. I feel like as a coach you should have a bit of knowledge, well, a lot of knowledge about both. When to use one over the other, who to use one with, one not with. I feel like for athletes doing other training, RPE is good. I feel like for lifters who have been lifting recently, that percentages are good.
Yeah.
I feel like the argument isn't always one or the other, it's who and when. For those of you who don't know, percentage-based lifting would be, or a percentage-based program would be saying, I want you to do 5 sets of 3 at 80% of your 1 rep max, or 80%, this is another one where it goes a little bit wrong, or 80% of your 3 rep max, which is what it should be, which is a true 80%. Or rating of perceived exertion, which is RPE. So this is a modified Borg scale, which I think might have been adapted from a pain scale originally, and then a coach named Mike Teixeira took hold of and sort of made his own, especially within the powerlifting world. The modified Borg was like a 20-to-1 scale. Oh, too much cream in that one, bro. I told ya.
Got me.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll clean the carpet.
Jeez.
Fuck. So yeah, the Borg scale ended up going from like a 1 to 20, with like 20 being maximum effort. It might have even been a pain scale or a cardiovascular scale, like for how hard was this exercise, but it was based more on a cardio sort of thing. Then Teixeira came along. He's the most renowned one for it. The modified Borg was already made, I think, and then Teixeira sort of adapted it for powerlifters, and it was a 1 to 10, with 10 being like that's a maximum effort, and then sort of down to 5 being like felt like a warm up, that sort of thing. So I like a bit of both, to be honest. I almost feel, and I think I wrote it in my notes after getting this, that there might be an argument to have something in between with a little bit less, call it grey area. We've all seen lifts that have been like, oh, I felt like a 7, and it's like, looked like ugliest fight, lost technique, it's a 10. We've all seen those sort of lifts.
Yeah.
We've all seen coaches program 5.5s at 95%. Now, when we look at estimated repetition maximums with 95%, you're probably only going to get 2 or 3 reps out. So then how are you doing multiple sets of 5 at it? So you're probably not working at 95%.
Yeah.
The other thing is to try and figure out whether you're going to do it as a percentage of 1 RM for a set of more than 1. Means that if you're working at 85% of your 1 RM for 5 reps, it's more like a 5 RM. So you're not working at 85%, you're working at 100%. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basing things off a 5 RM when you're doing 5 sets, it's probably more wise.
Yeah.
Probably needs to happen more often. I feel like there's an argument to take out some grey area and even have a zone sort of training. So like I haven't thought about it too much. I made a note to think about it and maybe like turn it into a blog or something. Maybe have something like a heavy slow, red zone, heavy slow, and then taper that down to a light fast, green.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then in between you might have at max 2 other zones. You might call it, you might call it sort of, you can come up with whatever name you want. Make them yellow and orange zones. Similar to what they've done with aerobic stuff. So you'd be like, being your sort of anaerobic, your aerobic, your threshold, your tempo, those sort of zones, just taking out the grey area a little bit. I feel like that's probably worthwhile for, more so for athletes especially. Like this week, this session's green session, nothing's allowed to be slow, green means go, there you go, that sort of thing. Or today's allowed to be red, this exercise is allowed to be red, I want it red. They know, alright, it's got to be heavy enough that it's slowing me down.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I think there's an argument for it because RPE, man, you look at it, it's like, oh, is it a 6.5 or is it a 7? And you do get better with time with it. The other thing I feel like when you look at RPE and percentages is that the whole reason for RPE is that it takes into account how you are feeling on a given day. So you might come in and you're feeling beat up and a 9 on one day is different to a 9 on the other, where if it was a percentage, it would be a fixed number. I feel like that percentage program can also change too. For some reason, people think that it's 90%, so it's 90% and it's like a maths problem. I was like, no, well, you can still just come in and be like, all right, it's 90%, I've got this weight here, 90%, it feels like it's 100, I'm gonna actually make it 90, just make it 90.
And that's a big
So that's auto-regulating a percentage-based program, which people like, oh, for some reason they think they can't do.
Yeah.
You can 100%, like, 100% you can.
Yeah. And that's where that colour scheme could be effective.
Oh yeah, so the colour scheme would be more like an RPE.
Yeah.
So make it red,
Yeah.
you still like, or I want it to be green,
Yeah.
Orange today, and orange would just look like normal strength training.
Yeah.
You're getting all the reps out pretty easily, might slow down towards the end of the set. So there's a number of different ways, but I feel like there's something an avenue I want to like look down and say, all right, can we come up with something to make our own?
Yeah.
And again, like different athletes are going to like, powerlifters are going to do more red sessions than like an in-season athlete.
Yeah.
It might be like, you might do a red and a green this week, or and powerlifter might be like red, green, red, depending on where they are in their sort of program or season. But yeah, there's a little bit about RPE and percentages. Both of them are not fixed. People always think percentages are fixed. They don't have to be fixed. Same sort of thing with like the periodization models, everyone sort of thinks that they were fixed. They were always made to be flexible. And that's where RPE is great because it's auto-regulated. It's like, I feel like shit. Like a 10 out of 10 today is lighter than a 10 out of 10 when I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
It's all good. But I use a bit of both. More so percentages and more so just telling people, hey, I want you to increase for 3 weeks. And that's where the zones might come in. Again, it's a red week. All right, so it's a heavy week, it's a red week. So you could use that from a session point of view. If you came up with the zones, we're sort of writing this little zones thing as we go along.
Yeah.
You could have a red week and a green week. I've sort of done that in the past, a little bit like a colour scheme for them.
Yeah, and as an athlete, it's easier to comprehend when you're looking at
So much easier.
You're looking at your training rate and go, oh, you can clearly see, alright, I'm getting harder, or I've got a red week on my third week of this program. Okay, I'm working hard then, and then it changes the colour.
Because a lot of the time, man, people like powerlifters, and because we have powerlifters in gym, they can get fixated on those numbers, like they really feel they give a fuck if they're doing 80, not 90. For an athlete, it really doesn't matter.
No.
Because the power output might be exactly the same with 80 as it is 90. Yeah, 80 is lighter, but you're moving it faster, which is the stimulus we want anyway at the time. So yeah, I feel like rather than being like, how do you feel? What was that after every set? It was an RPE 6.5.
Yeah. Thinking about too much.
Was it red? Yeah, it's red.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, that's where we need to be. Easy.
Yeah. I don't know. Like get some of that brownie in you, bro. It's fucking. Oh, sorry, mate. I'm making him move over here. Oh, got a little chocolate brownie here. Little brownie going on. Oh my. Oh, that's decent. I like that. That's good. So there's a little bit on RPE and percentage. Thank you very much. I don't know the person's name.
Is that brownie you go good with a cup of tea?
I'm not making any cup of tea, but I've got
That's good, that's handy, that brownie.
You've got a full slab of chocolate, bro.
Yeah.
Alright. The next one is a great question. Maybe going, I should stop eating her.
Yeah. Clear it up.
Oh, that's grotty, eh?
You're gonna get some feedback.
Oh, that's grotty. Alright, next one's from Jamie. Oh, Jamjar on the Instagram. Can you have the best of both worlds when it comes to strength and cardio? Does focusing on one hinder the other? Now, yes. Focusing on one does hinder the other. Can you have the best of both worlds? No. So when we train conditioning and strength, we call it concurrent training. Now, I wouldn't even call it theory. The science behind it suggests that there's two different cell signaling pathways that occur, one for aerobic work, one for strength work. Now, there's obviously going to be grey area, just like there is with energy systems. You're not just using glucose, just using fat. It's always a mixture. It's in flux, I think is the right term to put it. So there is a dominant cell signaling response depending on whether you're doing strength training or cardiovascular training. So when it comes to endurance, I'm going to spit out some hot names of some enzymes here. When it comes to endurance, stimulates increases of adenosine monophosphate and adenosine triphosphate. That is ATP, the energy currency of the body. And it stimulates the AMPK pathway, the adenosine monophosphate kinase pathway. So you have increased glucose uptake, you have increased mitochondria activity, which uses oxygen to create energy within the cell. That's what the mitochondria do. So you have increases in these things. Increased fat metabolism and a decrease in protein synthesis. All right, so making the proteins. That is when it comes to endurance or aerobic
style training. Like I said, it's not going to be one or the other. It would be in flux, but there would be one that dominates depending on how you're training, because we know there's aerobic training, there's strength training, and there's all that area in between.
Yeah.
When it comes to strength training, stimulates an increase in insulin, which makes a lot of sense. Insulin is a hormone that increases the uptake of glucose from the bloodstream into the muscle so it can create energy. Alright, so strength training stimulates an increase in insulin and IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor. This is the APK, or the protein kinase B pathway. So you have increases in protein synthesis and a decrease in protein degradation. So that's good. We're laying down protein. We have an increase in cell growth. We have an increase in glucose transport. So when we train concurrently, so both at the same time, within the same program, or maybe even within the same session, there is what we call an interference effect. So you are not basically training one as well as you could, and you won't have as great a training effect from one if you're training both. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I think.
I'm with you.
So, to put this into sort of basic terms and into practical terms, training strength will help with endurance events. It won't increase your VO2, but it will increase sort of time to exhaustion, force output, efficiency, things like that. Now, it's been it has been shown that lots of high volume, long duration aerobic training will be detrimental to strength training. But it has also been shown that having a greater aerobic capacity will allow you to do and recover from more strength training. So there is a reason to have it placed specifically within a strength athlete's program. If it's the main focus, probably not going to harness as much strength as you could. So I hope that makes sense. Another practical point of view is, or another point to make is, what I just went over, the pathways and the enzymes that are creating this, creating that, stimulating this, stimulating that, are all good in theory, but most of us, if not all of us, are so far below both our genetic capacities of maximum endurance, maximum strength, that is never going to be a worry. And we can absolutely rip and really improve both at the same time. Yes, you're going to get better you're going to get better at aerobic work if you're doing more aerobic work, 100%. But I feel like most of us, from a practical point of view, can improve both a shitload before this becomes too much of an issue, or something that we need to worry about.
Yeah.
It's just made me go and look at a little bit of science behind it and like what's actually happening from a physiological point of view. Now, this gets me to something that happened recently. A guy named Adam Klink, CrossFitter. I forget the name of the gym he trains at. He trains at Ben Smith's gym, or he's the owner of Ben Smith's gym, who won the CrossFit Games a couple times after Froning before Fraser. Did he win it? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think he got one, eh?
He doesn't get enough fucking respect, does he?
No, he's been around for a while.
He's been around forever too. So the owner of his gym, named Adam Klink, first guy documented to run a 5-minute mile and squat 500 pounds, which is 227 kilos on the same day. So both those things, let's put it in perspective. He did it high bar, I think just in knee sleeves, maybe a belt, 227. That is a decent squat for 99% of the population.
Yeah.
Like, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe guys over that squatting over that, and that's typically like, well, they're going to be belts and wraps. A couple of them, 3 of them could probably squat it completely raw, maybe just some knee sleeves. 2 of them definitely could. Actually, 3 of them definitely could. But anyway, just to put it in perspective, so there's 4 guys here that can squat over that in our gym. They're going nowhere near a 5-minute mile. No one in this gym is doing a 5-minute mile. So the guy who did it, Adam Klink, I think he's got a soccer background, so he's got that aerobic capacity.
Yeah.
He's obviously built up enough strength that he can squat 500 pounds. So when this question came up, because he's only done this like within the last month,
Yeah, okay.
first person documented to do it, Dave Castro put it out, who's the CrossFit fucking dude, main programmer and all that. He put it out like, would anyone be able to do it? So a 5-minute mile is not, it's not crazy. Like I said, there's no one at this gym that can do it. It's fucking fast, but it's not like, you're not winning nationals or winning state championships or anything like that. It's like runner level running, which runner level running is pretty fucking hectic, man. When you get, it's like comparing a person who, you know, does squats with 60 kilos to coming in here and like, oh, why have they got 5 of those each side?
Yeah.
Those sort of things. It's the same sort of thing. You're like, oh, they're doing like sub 25 Ks. It's like just what you do and what you've always done. It's like, what? No, it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5-minute mile, it's not like, I'd like to see what the actual world record for the mile is. I'm gonna Google it. It's not hectic from like runner's point of view, and 227 isn't hectic from like a powerlifter's point of view, but to be able to do both of them is nuts.
Yeah, it's good.
And yeah, this question sort of made me think, yes, this is a thing, there is that interference effect. You can't have the best of both worlds, but we can still, most of us can all still improve so much before interference becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And
If you're achieving that, you're pretty, like, you've got to be happy with that.
oh yeah, world record mile. So when you think like Roger Bannister did the 4-minute mile, so this guy's not like, and that was like 1954 or something.
Yeah.
Where's that gone? Where is it? Alright. Mile run record mile pace record. What do we got? So it's 1600 meters. I ran 1500 the other day in 6, which is again isn't crazy. Like I could probably get it down to about 5.5. Holy hell!
What's he got there?
4 minutes 12.
Whew.
That's still, mate, 4 minutes 12. Oh, wait, oh, fuck. I think it's, 3:43? Oh, dude, still got it. Hisham El Garouj. 3 minutes 43 is the world record. Dude, that's hectic.
That's a quick 1.6.
Still, so that guy running it is a minute 45 behind, so it's like good 400 meters behind whole
Man, that'd be
whole
sick.
lap.
Imagine the pace of that.
Anyway, there's a YouTube vid on there. Guy's name is Adam Klink with a K. You can look it up. I came across this from a podcast I listened to. Was it Arm & Hammer? Does like CrossFit commentary, that sort of stuff. He mentioned he had a mate who was a silver medalist in the Olympics and world champion steeplechaser, I think, or decathlete,
Okay, yeah.
who obviously has the capacity to run a 5-minute mile pretty easy, and reckons, you know, was doing some 600-pound box squats at some point in his career.
Jeez.
And Arm & Hammer, the podcaster, made a note saying like, yeah, that's the caliber of the athlete. Like he's a silver medalist, Olympian decathlete, world champion decathlete. Like it's that.
Yeah.
Like doing that sort of 5 minutes and 2:27 is like that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I'm hoping there's a few more that do it now that that's sort of come out.
Yeah, that would be good to see.
He also did 50 unbroken pull-ups too, just on the day, just for fun. So that's a little bit on the old concurrent training, but I definitely liked just like feats like that. I like looking at them like, whoa, sort of how do you weigh up against it?
Yeah.
So like 227 is 12 kilos more than I've ever squatted. I'd have to do a mile. I reckon I could probably do a mile, maybe 540. Another 100, yeah, 540.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Might have to go for a 1600.
Might have to have a crack.
540, maybe 5.5.
You should do that.
See where we're at.
Go and have a crack and just go
I
right.
squatted 210 this year.
Yeah.
I might not be
I have to do it on the same
taking
day.
on, dude, putting on, when like that's a max 210, that was in knee wraps as well.
Yeah.
So to put on, like I've squatted 215, I was 106 kilos. That's putting on like another 14 kilos.
And running where you are now.
Which means it's going to take away from my running, you know what I mean? So I would have to I'd have to do a lot of strength. Like it's hard, like where do you put your time?
Yeah.
Like someone like myself is probably in the area of the sort of physique that might be able to do it long enough and tall enough to be able to run fast enough, if you can fucking figure it out. And sort of strong enough to be pushing towards it. I don't know.
Yeah.
These are interesting conversations I like to sort of have. And
You should do your 1.6.
yeah, I should have a crack at it.
Okay, and see and like push it
Yeah.
and finish it like.
Well, because I did 1500 at 15 k's, which is 6 minutes.
Yeah.
1500. So you add another 100. Let's say it's 6 minutes 30.
Yeah. I reckon you'd come pretty close to it, to that 5. Flat.
6 minutes 30. Nah, I reckon
Would
5
you
and
run
a
it on the
half.
treadmill or would you run it
Yeah, on the treadie.
rate?
I don't know. I reckon 5.5. And I couldn't squat 200 at the moment. I'd probably be around the 180 as a max, but it would hurt because I haven't been squatting. Anyway, if anyone wants to have a crack at it, have a crack at it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I love it. What else have we got? Mindset in the bubble. A little bit of mindset. Athletes in the bubble, bro.
Okay.
Not being able to. So this is from our friend and only guest on the podcast, Martin, who is, I'm pretty sure I'm not sure what the deal is with him. I think he has to get tested because he works for the Eagles, but he's still got his own job. But he's still been doing the Eagle stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think he can just come and go. So
No.
he must be getting tested every time he goes
Jeez.
into contact with them. Yeah, it'd have to be. So he just asked like what it would be like mindset in the bubble. From what I've seen, like I only follow a few athletes that I've sort of noticed what they're doing. A little bit of golf going on. See the Western Force boys doing some chip shots, that sort of stuff.
They'd be hanging out with each other, getting
Playing
out with each other.
games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure of the. Actually, I've seen a few of the NBA guys. There's a few vlogs going on.
Oh yeah.
A few vlogs going on in the NBA. I know like LeBron and AD were on 2K.
Yeah.
You can have. It was weird though because people knew who their characters were and like following them around within the game or something.
Yeah, my brother was telling me something.
Real weird. Real weird.
Like the server crashed or something.
But mindset in the bubble, how would you be? I feel like some people who are all about it would be lapping it up because they wouldn't have any distractions.
No.
They could just
They're in it 24/7.
24/7. They would love it. So like, if you said like cricketers, Steve Smith, you know what I mean? Oh, he'd be loving it. All he has to worry about is cricket. You know what I mean? Those sort of dudes, those sort of athletes that just lap it up and are real nerds for their sport would just be loving it. I'm just gonna get better. Sweet. No
It'd be hard
distractions.
for the boys that have families. Like
The other
young
boys.
ones.
Oh yeah, and you're
That's-
seeing that
that's
within like the NRL, like some of the Warriors boys. Well, not only are they
Getting pumped.
getting
Getting pumped.
getting pumped, the coach is getting sacked. They're living in fucking Lismore or some shit.
Yeah.
But there is only so much, especially with a sport like rugby, there's only so much you can do. I
Yeah.
suppose you can keep working on your ball skills.
You have to have your downtime.
Have to have a downtime, so there'll be a lot of golf going on, like I said, a lot of golf. You
Golf.
just be, you're getting hacky sacks involved, yo-yos, you're getting all the toys,
Table tennis.
heaps of like 2K,
Yeah.
reading, lots of reading, studying. Like it's time to take up a course, bro. You've got nothing else to do. Take up a course. Everything's online nowadays. Your mindset, I think, would just to be keeping busy, not knowing, but understanding. And I'm sure they do the. I don't know. Not the, what's the word for it? Not how easy they've got it, but how much worse other people would have it. Some people aren't quarantined, but they've lost their job, can't work.
Yeah.
Like you get to sort of chill out here in a hotel.
And they're working.
Like you're getting paid a little bit less than normal, but still a good amount. I think, is the AFL on full pay?
I'm not too sure.
I know there's a couple of leagues that aren't on full pay.
No.
The NRL's not on full pay, I don't think. Just because they might be back now because there's crowds back.
I'm not too sure. It'd be,
Yeah, it depends, but I would just like try and have that perspective, you know, like a good perspective. Like, you know, I'm pretty lucky that I have to be away from this or away from that, or I don't have as much freedom that I'd like to, but I'm in a good spot
This is what I do.
compared to a lot of other people. So, and it's not going to be forever, hopefully. So that would be the mindset to try and adopt.
Yeah.
It would obviously you'd have to be doing a lot of FaceTiming, a lot of that sort of stuff with family, a lot. Be tough for those guys.
One thing I would probably push for would be like, you don't know when, but eventually it will end.
Yeah, so it will end, it's not forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just try and have that perspective of how good you do have it compared to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Even though it's pretty shit at the moment.
Yeah.
That'll be the biggest thing when it comes to mindset, I think, in the bubble. That's thanks to Marty for that one. That's about it, bro. Where are we at? Couple of hours. Are you fading away, bro? You got no energy.
No, I'm good.
Oh, you want to go for another hour, bro?
Nah.
Hit me, well, what do you... I told you to bring some stuff to the table. You got anything for the table? Slack shit, eh?
No, it's just, I thought we covered good. My one that I wanted to talk about was just the mental toughness of setbacks, or not mental toughness, but your approach to it. Because I mean, not just people that play sports get setbacks, people just in the gym get injuries as well.
Yeah.
It covers for everyone that has a situation where there is setbacks, because everyone suffers setbacks.
Yeah, well, so I think sort of to conclude what we said when it comes to the mindset stuff, because I wanted to touch on it, and like I said, I do find it hard to put into words how to create that mindset and without being just like regurgitating random motivational shit. Make sure that you understand there's going to be problems. The problems are the way to go. The obstacle is the way. You're allowed to feel a certain way. It is how you react to them that is going to see you through to the other side, or how what sort of outcome you're gonna have. And if you sort of let it become all-consuming and let it become part of you, that will probably make it harder to get through.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, if you know it's going to be a problem before it's a problem, it's less than a problem. And the reacting unemotionally, that's sort of the two little pieces of advice. Yeah.
Advice.
Little pieces of wisdom that I feel when it comes to an injury are important, or anything really, any sort of setback. Well, that's about it from me. You got anything else, bro? I think we've covered it all.
No, it'll either make you or it'll break you.
Ooh-wee. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks, brother.
No worries, thank you.